Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, mate. It's been a few years.
Yeah, you were up in Glasgow, you interviewed me.
Long time ago, yeah. I remember it being freezing, windy.
Yeah.
That's just Glasgow, right?
Yeah, of course, every day it's the same up there. But had your father on yesterday. Great guy.
Yeah.
For everything that he spoke about, it takes massive courage for doing that over 35 years. You've got sort of a similar story now. You were also a goalkeeper through the pro youth ranks, Portsmouth, Man United. Now you're also in the iconic studio doing your thing, documentaries, interviewing fascinating people. So it'll be good to get to understand you a bit more.
Yeah, cool.
And understand where you've went through, what you've overcome. Because obviously with your dad being ridiculed and that all those years ago, how you handled that. But first and foremost, how are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm really good. Really, really good. Busy, which is amazing because it means you're doing something that you enjoy doing. It means you're doing stuff of like value if you're busy. And so I'm enjoying that. But no, life's good, in a good place. Good. Nice family. We're working with families, good fun. Has its challenges, as you can imagine, but it's good fun. And yeah, feeling really blessed to be where I am. Yeah.
This video is about the controversial claim that World War III is coming, as exposed by Jaymie Icke. In the episode, Icke suggests that governments are secretly preparing for a large-scale global war, pointing to new witnesses and what she describes as shocking evidence.
Well, that's a good thing because I said to him yesterday as well that he's been doing it over 30 years. I remember watching him. You're talking, started my journey maybe 10 years ago when I was making changes. It was like him, Alex Jones. Who was the guy with the grey hair that used to do it was like comedy mixed with it? He's passed away now. He used to, he was unbelievable. The American guy.
Oh, George Carlin.
Yeah, Carlin, unbelievable. So that was the kind of
Bill Hicks as well.
My guys, yeah, who just gravitated towards. But that's what I was saying yesterday. It just feels so trendy now.
Yeah.
That everybody wants to be a conspiracy theorist because I know the majority of stuff comes true. Yes, we're going to get it wrong from time to time, but the majority of stuff is true. What these guys have been speaking for 30 years.
Yeah.
But it just seems, including myself, I'm guilty of this, repeating the same shite that other people have said without really being educated enough to actually speak it. It just feels good for me, and I feel as if we're in a time now that's generating views where everybody's jumping on it and not really knowing what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. It's trendy. It's trendy for a lot of people. But what the key is, I think, with it is if you don't know that, if you haven't done the research, understanding the context of something. So you can point out that, this is happening and it's bad. And that's one thing, but why is it happening? And it's not incompetence by a couple of MPs. It's a carefully planned agenda that lines up with this and this and this. I think a lot of people that are new to it miss that. And because it's quite trendy, people jump in and go 0 to 60 without doing the groundwork to really understand what the plot is. Because if you don't understand what the deeper agenda is, you look at, to simplify the analogy, if you try and unpack the game plan of a football team without understand, you're just going, the striker keeps doing this, but you don't understand how what the striker's doing complements what the midfielders are doing, how the defence have set up. You're not going to understand the game plan and you're never going to beat it. And I think it's the same principle with this. If you just look at every world event, every speech, every change of policy as an isolated event that appears disconnected from what may have gone before, you're never going to understand the world. You're never going to get to that point of being ahead of it where you can start to predict what's coming next and you can start to call out what you think is going to come next based on what's gone before, which I think that's why he has got the credibility he has, because he said things years ahead of time by doing the groundwork, doing the research and understanding that, okay, this is happening now, but it's designed to go here. So in order for that to happen, a lot of stuff in the middle has to happen. And if nothing gets in the way, it's going to happen. So what we're seeing at the moment with this sort of stars aligning for World War III, he wrote about that in the 90s because it was the plan. And everything that's happened geopolitically in the last 5 years has been putting the pieces in place to make that a reality.
While the podcast description highlights these revelations, no verified documents or mainstream reports confirm the details of such a plan.
Whereas a lot of other people that are new to it will come out and go, look, why are we giving all this money to Ukraine? It makes no sense. It's like, well, no, it doesn't make any sense if you look at it when the country's giving them money, like the UK have got tons of problems at home. Look after those people first. You can look at it on that level and think it's confusing and not understand it. Whereas when you know the outcome they want, it's easy to make sense of. So I think that's where a lot of the newcomers to the alternative media need to have a bit of humility of, actually there's a lot of people that have researched deeper than you about why things are happening. So just maybe do a bit of reading before you start saying, I've worked it out, this is the plan, that's why this is happening. Because there's always, like everything, there's always one reason that they'll tell you, and there's always the real reason behind. And unless you do the research, you're only going to get that one. So, people look at Trump's tariffs and go, okay, well, that's going to try and bring jobs back to America and, reduce Chinese influence on the manufacturing industry in the States. Okay, that's one way of looking at it. Another one is it takes them closer to a trade war. It creates a trade war, creates global chaos, creates people apprehensive about whether they can spend money on this or that because they don't know what something's going to cost tomorrow. Also brings those two countries closer to a hot conflict. So, but most people don't look at that deeper meaning or research behind something to therefore be able to say, this is the real reason this is happening.
Many experts warn that these kinds of claims often fall into the category of speculation or conspiracy, but they do reflect growing public concern over rising global tensions.
Yeah, because David was saying yesterday, obviously Trump's first 4 years in power, he never had any wars. Apparently the first president to do so, but now it's all changed. Now he's dropping bombs.
Well, yeah, he's not got to get re-elected, is he? Unless they change the law and he tries to get elected again. But second terms are normally always the ones where the things are accelerated further along.
The destruction.
Because they've not got to get re-elected. So,
do you think between Ukraine and Russia is the start of World War III?
I think there's multiple aspects to it. I think what you're seeing in Israel, where just poking the Islamic world and poking Iran, I think there's lots of potential ways it could kick off. China and Taiwan, if that kicks off, what will NATO and the US do there? I think it's all aligned. It was written about a long time ago. I've heard of Albert Pike and the 3 letters. That Albert Pike was a Freemason who had 3 letters written about the 3 world wars, and these letters were discovered after the first 2 world wars. So the validity of them kind of relies on what it was said about the 3rd World War. But it described the first 2 in detail and accurate to what actually happened. But it described the 3rd as basically East versus West. Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, and maybe a couple of other chucked in, basically against the West and against NATO.
Whether or not a government-backed plan for war truly exists, the discussion raises important questions about how prepared societies are and how much trust people have in official narratives.
And all of those things I've just described, whether it's Ukraine, Russia, whether it's Israel against Iran, and whether it's Taiwan against China, they all line up with that. Because those 3 are aligned politically now through the BRICS movement. They're obviously aligned militarily and economically. So if the US went and attacked Iran today, Russia and China would come out in support. And then you've got your world war. Because those countries know that if one goes, they all go. China borders a large proportion of Russia, doesn't it?
I think China and Russia is the strong forces. Yeah. I don't think UK's not got a chance.
I don't think we're meant to win this one. I think that's the thing. Because if you look at what's the easiest way to change the world to how you want it, which is the society that's closest to the world they want is China. Social credit system, facial recognition technology everywhere, incredible control by the state over every aspect of people's lives. Well, what if there's a conflict, they win and they just impose that across the rest of the world? Easiest way to do it.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe these claims about World War III? Or do you think it's just fear-driven speculation? Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video.